with me, so we have some help. So we'll do that, and we'll also do what I was going to say. We're also going to figure out obviously a war too, but we're also going to try and get this quarry done, of course. So basically, our main building is going to be here with an exit side of it here, and then we're going to have obviously we're going to have a crane here, just going to go in, or probably here, probably one there, and probably there. We're going to have a crane. We're going to have more quarry stuff here. More buttons. But we've got the basic. I'm not going to try like cobblestone in at all, because I don't think adding cobblestone would be a good idea. So, but our main aim at the moment is probably going to get a war in. So yeah, we're going to probably do that. I don't know what we're going to do. I want to do I'm thinking of doing like we did with the village, have a back wall, which goes all along, to like a defense wall. So we might go and do that. Um, yeah. Right, we'll do that. We get that sorted. If we do that, I think that'll be good. I just say we're gonna have a lot of outside buildings. You know, we're gonna have cart sections. We're gonna have the underground sections. Go under, which are for where the mine, where it's going deeper. Which is about our main thing here. So when we get at the moment we're just really just trying to get the war in. Then we're going to get the path around on the outside coming down here. Entrance, where I think will be the best. I think entrance will be here, to be honest. It would be good to be here, I think. And maybe entrance right there. And then we're going to get this main building in here. And then we're going to work out something here with some frames. And then we're going to do, quarry making. We're going to, get slabs and that and make like a pile of brick. Bricks. That's what they'll be making here. With, about stone cutters. We'll put, a bunch of, beds in just so that the villagers, it's where to go, sleep. So we can have a ton of villagers outside here. Trying to get stonemasons so that, look like they're working. We'll put a bunch in this building here so they can move around a bunch. My idea is that if we get at least 10 in this building and get at least 15 more beds outside the quarry out here, what we can do is we can put those beds in, and then we can put, a bunch of stone cutters all around, and then we can imitate, the villagers actually working here. That's our sort of aim. We're gonna try and do. So. I'm gonna do this, this, this. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna get the wall, and then we'll work out entrance way to work out for the actual whole mine quarry. Mm, no, we're gonna do that, and then we need that, and then no, we need that. We're gonna make a something like I think. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. I don't know. We'll just do something like that. I think we'll be fine. So we're going to just, again, bring it all to the same level as the, you know. Okay, bring it all to the same level. Then from there we can work out what we're going to do from there. Oh, okay. I'm just going to do this real quick. So, don't really want to do that. Yeah, and then we'll come along with this. Perfect. Um, yeah, okay. Okay. We can make that too high. I don't think it needs to be. We'll make it actually three high, I think. Yeah. Events A, it's just pretty much the same, nearly the same height as all other village. So we'll make it all three high. And then from there we'll work at entrances. I see why that needs to be on the outside. I want it to be on the outside. It seems weird, but it's more weirder having it not like that. You know, because you can still see it from the outs. Yeah. Now I'm looking at it, it looks so much better. Okay, that done. Almost there. I don't know if I wanna. I will put the same pattern on, but I think that's actually not that bad. I actually like that. I like this wall, which is encompassing it. It looks very weird because there's just a open same bit, but it's yeah. Where is only gonna get myself from a drink? I'll be back. I also just um, Right, I'm just gonna do something quick. Just gonna send something to my cuz so he knows that I'm on. What am I doing? I'm so stupid. Noob. Send this to him. Okay, that's great. Let's go let my cousin know that I'm on so he can join us. Right. So I was under the entrance there, but I don't think. See, that's a perfect entrance because you're coming into it. So it's just a really odd entrance because of the thing. But I think we can do something like phone is on down angle, so I can't really, you know, do it forward. So I need to do something like. I need. I'm just gonna use oak. I know that's very like sad, but I'm just gonna use oak. I don't. Actually, no, I'm just gonna think. How am I gonna get the fence in? Oh, I wish Markov had diagonal fences. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I think I can do that, and I can do this, and then I can do this, 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 this. That's the best I think I can actually do, guys. I genuinely serious. And then do something like this. Yeah, that's the best I can actually do. Um, so yeah, I like that. Don't like that, but I don't mind this. I think that will be good. Um, I'm trying to figure out a way, guys. I really am trying. That doesn't make sense. The only way I generally see this is by doing something like this, like that. Um, no, not gonna work. I really am. I don't know what to do. I can't figure out something which will look nice. That's the one thing which I wish they added into Minecraft base game is diagonal fences. I think doing that is gonna be the best shot. Yeah. We'll just do that entrance there. We'll do the path later, man. No, actually, do it now. We'll go for the center because it's easier. We're just gonna wrap the path around this, around the thing. It's easier doing that. So we go 3, 1, 2, 3. So what we're probably going to do is the main thing we're going to try and get tonight is just get this path in and get some light in this area. We're definitely going to do that tonight to get that done. I'm probably going to forward up to about. What I do is I'll try and get all these back down to the bottom and then just shape it up like a bowl and then get rid of most of it and turn all this dirt into stone pretty much. That's what we're going to try and do. So. Alright, almost there. Yeah, I'm just going to try and follow the damn wall in terms of the trajectory and, you know, height wise. So it's going to go down here, so we'll go there, so we go down here, go down here. These slabs we need birch. So the reason why we use this birch is because it's the one thing which fits best with dirt and path. Of course, dirt and path. It's the closest thing which looks like dirt, basically, as I'm trying to say. So I want this thing which obviously looks like closest to dirt, which is going to be spruce planks. Is this okay? I'm gonna go again the height of the fence. This we rolled it. Very down here like this actually. Yeah, because my cousin, I think he's probably still at work, but I don't think he is. Um, he's gonna wait until he sees it. I don't mind. I don't care if he gets something more, to be honest. Um, I just do this because I find it fun and enjoyment, some enjoyment. Me, there we go. Go. Yeah, it's a bit more time. Then I want to make sure it's good as it's being used. I'm going to add the path block. It's quite not too common, but enough where it's definitely look like it's being, walked over. Not too much where it takes the course third away. Just enough where that would be perfect. Nice. Cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. So, well, we need to do this. So I do want to, um, thing is, when there's a quarry, you gotta make sure there's a way down. Um, so I'm thinking, stick, here, which is quite. Maybe I got an idea. Maybe I got an idea. Maybe if we do something like, let's just go instead. slabs are. If you do something like this, I know it might be weird, but if you do something like this, and something like this, and then we can go down like this, down the, where the stone is. And then, again, always going to try and add that stone, that transition, so it has that feel that, so, I don't want the overhang of the stone because I think the overhang will make it look really ugly. So I think trying to just, do this would be perfectly fine like that. You move. Thank you. I do not know why I'm talking to a sheep in Minecraft. Doesn't even understand me. It's a freaking AI sheep. It's a sheep. Program sheep. I'm saying keep moving. But that's my cousin Mitch. That's because Mitch is saying I might jump on mine. So. It's I don't really care if he does. I'm just, want to help. I'm glad to help me. And the more help we have, the better. We might name something a village after him. That's what I was going to show you. I forgot to show you. I was going to show you the villages. So, this name of this village again, I'm not going to lie. I use AI because I just ask for themes of the main kingdom and themes around the village of its farm, its crops, and its meat, and decided to call it, won't believe it, End Ranch. Another one's a bit more weirder. Um, so I'll show you that in a minute. So, yeah, I want to clean this up a bit, because it's not gonna lie, it does look a bit odd. I don't know. Yeah, okay. And then we can get some more fingers back here. And then we're gonna get some bone meal again. Bone meal. Alright. Yeah, so that's called thing, and again, this I think these don't have a name. They're just still a part of the same town, so I didn't bother put a name on them. That one's called another name, which I could be pronouncing this wrong because I'm not really good. I can't really read. I'm not good at reading or spelling. That's spelling. So I'm also still glad we took these lights off the bridges. It actually makes me. I don't know why, but I find them a lot nicer looking without the light. I don't know if that's just me, but I really do find them a lot more nice. I like this. I like this kind of with lights. I find this look nicer with lights. But I don't find the bridges with other lights. I don't find these bridges with lights. I find them better without lights. Yes, okay, yes, so as back here, this one is called um, Void Bloom. So, yeah, mainly because it's up on there, up on, This is honestly one of my favorites, not because it has a small building out, so that's cool. But the fact that it's on this hill and has a nice long path going towards it, that's what I want. But yeah, so that's how I like it. Is the copper goblins are getting aged up, which I want. I want these to be blue anyway, so I don't want that. But I do love this building just because of the sheer amount of villages in it. It doesn't feel. I love the main reason why I like it because it feels alive. The village, it feels alive, and that's what I try to go for. Don't mind the, you know, elephant. Don't mind that. Um, oh, the two fuck things. That's a really weird idea to go over from that. That's fine. Anyway, and a line on. I think this guy's stuck in something. Am I anything? But yeah, this is called Blue Void Bloom. Um, why are they attacking? What are they attacking? I think they're trying to attack the turkeys, or they're trying to attack. Oh, they're trying to take the horse. But anyway, yeah, so that's fine if they're trying to take the horse, it doesn't matter. But yeah, when we did go this one, but yeah, so I thought I'll let you guys, show you the names of them. Um, and this, I said, we are going to build another village. This village is more up to the end of the map. But I just wanted to show you where we guys are. The next path to the next village is going to come up through this way, up through there. But we are going to build the, what do you call it? An outpost over here. I'll find it. Yeah, pretty much over here. I was going to do it there, but I'm thinking about doing it here now, only because you can see the actual sort of the village over there. Or I could do it here, maybe middle in the marsh. That'll be pretty cool. Um, yeah, I'm not certain or have a certain idea where I'm going to put it. But I do have a certain idea where I'm going to put the first one, which we're going to build next, which is going to be legit right next to the quarry. But I'm thinking about putting that there and and putting a path across the mud pit. And Jeffrey, now I'm thinking it actually might work best here. Definitely putting it here. Yeah. So that's where we're going to build the outpost for this village. Again, the outpost has to be somewhere where it has easy access to the village to protect it, which is pretty easy from there. It doesn't mean it has to be sealable from the thing, because outposts aren't really sealable. Outposts are really mainly checkpoints, which are close to villages to, you know, if someone sees a village, soldiers come in, they from one village, and the village can sign the bells and all that, and the outpost will hear it, and then they'll come to their aid. That's what outposts are really designed for. Or a checkpoint where they can go and intercept the army and be protected. That's because with the outposts are also designed to make it where if they try and go past without defeating it, they will lose a lot of men instead of just attacking it. So they'll lose less men attacking it, and then just going straight past it. That's what legit one of the other main reasons why they had outposts. But yes, their outpost is for this village is going to be here. It's going to be right here somewhere, um, or maybe up there, somewhere along here. So I could again put it here. Again, I'm not certain idea where I'm going to put them, but I do think putting one probably somewhere here. So it's between there and it's between there. That's what we're going to do. So yeah, so we're going to build this quarry, and then next we'll definitely build out this outpost, which we're going to be outpost where we're happily going to be set on. So, but first we need to get this down to the bottom. I don't know where I'm going to put the bottom. I do want to put it to the bottom, but at the same time I don't. I want to keep going with this and until I'm happy with it. Because pros aren't really designed to be safe, more like they aren't. Um, so, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm probably going to do this all the way down. I am going to definitely put torches in this section so the mobs don't spawn. So I'll do something like this. Just so that when we put the stone down, mobs, zombies that don't continuously spawn in this area. Because I don't really want that, to be honest. Almost there. Okay. I think we do that. Let's do that first so I can get an idea where the studs are going to go. And then we need to start trying to do a turn. Probably about here maybe, yeah. Here. Then down here. Down here. Yeah. I'm going to get rid of this up here because I wanted to specifically a stone mine. So we're going to try and make sure that, you know, they can stone. There we go. Alright, I guess that's good. Now we're just gonna figure out how we're gonna do this. Um, First off, we're gonna make sure it's all again stone. We can cover most of this with stone like this. Maybe like that. Like that. That. Fine. Gotta change that. Thing. There we go. I need help with it. Yeah. Oh, beg pardon. So we need to get rid of this. Again, there will be a ton of light down here, so we don't have to worry about, you know, the zombies and all that. That won't be a problem. All we have to do is just, you know, make sure that, you know, it looks natural. Doesn't look unnatural. And I'm trying to respect the appropriate of the natural Minecraft generation, and also trying to make it realistic. So I'm trying to do both. I'm trying to, respect the Minecraft generation terrain, but also make it realistic as possible without going so realistic where it has to make so many changes where, it has to redo the whole mountains and all that. It's just going to take, I want to do it, don't get me wrong, but realistically, if we're thinking about that, it's going to take a lot of work. And I don't think that I have the time to do that amount of work. And I'm not saying I want to, trust me, I do. But I have things to do which I have things to do which I don't get that time to do things to do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I want to do all these things for you guys and let you make content which you guys can constantly watch at a time which you can. Obviously, the way I don't want you guys to get things. I don't want you guys to take time out of things which are like a necessary thing for you. I don't want you to do that. If you're doing that and watching this, please don't. Only watch it if you have spare time on your hands. The one thing which I don't want to do is live stream for hours, but you guys have things to do, but you put those things off because you want to support me. I love it. I love the support, but at the same time, it's like I don't want my support to come to the point where it's more important than your daily needs. You know what I mean? I don't want it to become like that. where your life gets affected by what I'm doing. And I don't want that to happen. And I know a lot of streamers stream for a long time, and what they're doing might impact what people, who the view is, which is also children, which affects it, but also impacts their daily lives, and they don't realize it. But the creators do realize it. Because what they do affects their daily life. They can't actually live stream for hours. They all the time they have off. They all the time they're having off. They're not doing anything. They're usually editing other things. Or they get an editor to do it, and he has to pay the editor, and that's so. There are things they still has to do to still make a livelihood. So, and I don't want my livelihood, what I'm doing, to affect you to the point where you are taking time off things which you need to do. Because I know there's super streamers out there who stream for a long time, and people watch it, and it's mainly kids, and that's what I mean. Which most streamers don't think about because they don't care. Is that when you stream for a long time and you have thousands of people watching on it, it's usually kids, and what you do affect those kids. I don't want to be a streamer where I just stream for games. I want to try. I don't want that. If people watching, and especially if the kids, if kids are watching this, if you are a kid, I don't want to be a streamer which does things to get views. I don't want that because I know what I do. What you look at, especially if you're watching it for your kid, what you look at is what you mostly consume is going to be things which is going to shape your life. So if you constantly consume, you know, a guy who does streaming and he goes and mix up with lots of girls and finds it cool in that, you're gonna do that exact same thing, and you won't find it cool. The only reason why they enjoy it is because they know they get views out of it. So if you're watching this kid, please don't watch. Please, I don't. If you're watching this because and to the point, and then you start making you want me to do things, I'm happy to do them, but it's only if it's benefit for the YouTube channel, but also it's benefit for you in your mental health and moving forward. If you want me to go and do a prank, and the prank involves harassing people, that's not happening. But if you want me to play a different game, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that. But I'm not doing things which will shape you guys in a bad way. Because I don't want to be the YouTuber. And I know if I get big, I know if I get big, that's what's going to happen. How I shape is going to be the one thing which is going to affect you guys, and I don't want that to happen. If your boys watching this, I want you guys to be strong and defend the vulnerable, which you've loved ones. Defend them when they're innocent. If they're guilty, don't defend them. And what I mean by is, if they murder someone, out just murder, no, like if there's no justification for like self-defense, don't don't support them. Don't protect them. But if you see someone in trouble, I know it's hard when you have class, but when you truly have class, defend. That's the one thing. If you're watching this and your boy growing up, when you become a man, even your age now, especially when you become a man, your job as a man is to die. Is especially in a male relationship, but I think also in general. But a man's job in a relationship is to die. It's the same thing as Christ did. But you also, I mean that if you're a boy watching this, the thing which makes a good man is responsibility, boundaries, and protect the vulnerable. That's because if you can protect the vulnerable, you about easy to protect. So if I was every man, learn self defense, not to get not to find a wife, just to able to protect your wife, but protect people who can't protect themselves. Because if there was a lot more men like that in the world, if you're watching this, you men, all kids, there's a lot more, out there like watching that, doing that, and treating people with respect, kindness, you know, who deserve it, who which are good people. I don't think that pedophile deserves kindness. I think that if someone kills them, that's justification in my opinion. But if they are not causing harm to other people, don't. But if they, like example, being lesbian, if they're like in gay relationship, if respect them, don't don't attack them, arrest them. Say tell them they should look Christ. Yeah, tell it you can turn away and have eternal life. But if they're not, if they're disanoid, brush your feet off. But if if the people who do horrible things, like don't hold if you're watching this, don't if a man. We need more men out there who will stand up for. Well, I'm not saying you should go and if you see some what I've been in public and I've seen people say something to a woman and I look at it and I wait for a sec because I see if they keep going. If they keep going, that's when you step in. If they don't, and if the woman looks visibly upset or the man, just ask them if they're okay. No, but if they just watch and if they get to the point of physical, step in. So. But I would not want if because I don't want to be the YouTuber to where if you're watching this young kids if you're watching I don't want what if you're adult watching this I don't want to be a YouTuber who make kids grow up and you know be we I don't want to be that sort of person because as a YouTuber and as like specifically a gaming YouTuber, the most content views you're gonna get are children, and that's something which you has to accept. Most YouTubers don't want kids watching them, but it's something which they has to accept, and so this is why as YouTuber I vowed before I even started to think about how I'm going to speak and how they'll affect who's watching. Even though people don't watch me now, I still think how I speak, how is it going to affect if kids are watching it, you know? Um, so there are other opinions of um, things, and I like just about this, saying it. What's the word called? There's a proper word for it. It's called. It's where you just talk, just say your thoughts out loud to people. Venting. I like to vent my thoughts a lot. You get with this because it's not looking good. So I want to try and knock it down. I want to try and make a nice low sort of curvature pattern. So we're going to do something like this. And go up. Go up. We're going to do, I think something like this we do. We do that. Can you move, mate? Mate, come on. Thanks. Okay. Right, now we're just going to just do the full lesson, I think. But this cow is so annoying. Can you go away, please? Bro, I want to... Yeah, well, you want to go? So forth. Oh my goodness, a sheep, bro. Can you go away, please, sheep? You sheep, you sheep, a sheep, a sheep. And if you are watching this and you have like, you're dealing with something happened to you, and I encourage you and I hope you do attempt to find Jesus and pray about it. And I genuinely and dead set saying, if you're going to pray about something, be consistent. Pray about it every night. If you want Jesus to speak to you and you pray about it once, he doesn't answer. Pray about it constantly. Because the one thing which, even like, if you think about it, God, Father, and the Son is going to treat you like if you come to Christ and you want be a relationship with Christ, you are the Father and Jesus, and I expect to them you are their child. As a parent, they're going to answer you. If they don't answer you, the reason why is that they want to see if you're persistent. If you're persistent, it means you truly, really want it. And that's why if you are going to pray about it once, there's multiple reasons, but the main one which I see is doubt, get rid of doubt, but keep praying about it. If there's doubt, pray out doubt away. Sin, if you're holding on to sin, constant sin, that will affect it. That could be a reason. But I'm all going to go through my other channel. But the main thing for watching this, pray about it. Don't try and pray the perfect prayer. Don't try and be the Pharisees and don't try and boost. Come with a humble and open and loving, kind heart, like you would go to if you had if you had or have had loving, kind parents, you and the parents were kind, like, I know there's some people who've had really bad parents, and it sucks, and I feel our ones, but I feel your pain from the bottom of my heart. But if you are, um, you know, come to, come to Jesus, pray like you are a lost child. I am being dead set to it. Pray to Jesus and to the Father, the Holy Spirit, like your lost child. Don't try and make the perfect prayer. Don't stuff up when we do it, or don't stuff up and keep mumbling. If you mess up the prayer, just keep going, but don't try and fix it. Don't try and keep trying to fix it. Just say it, and if you don't say it, if you muck up, the Holy Spirit will intervene and for you. But you don't have to say the prayer. You can just pray in silence, and the Father will hear your prayer, and Jesus will hear your prayer. You don't have to. Yes, you don't have to pray out loud. You can pray in silence in your heart. So, I please, as a person who went through a verbal abuse from, my own father, from my own brother, the thing which really changed it and really made it really easy for me, even I still struggle today, but really made it really easy for me to come to Christ and trust in Him, was that I came with an open heart and I wanted the pain to stop. And I came with an open heart, and even though I haven't heard Him audibly, still hasn't done since, I know I can trust Him, and all that came from just an open heart. A person who wanted Christ, who wanted to understand and wanted to have love. I didn't even come to Him to want to be saved. I think first, no joke. I came to Him because I wanted the pain to go. I wanted to find peace. And when I came to Christ, I found peace. And that's why when I say to people, when you come to Jesus, don't come to Him in the idea that He's going to save you, or He's going to, don't come to Him only because you want to be saved. Don't come to Him to attempt to be saved. Come to Him to find peace. Come to Him, because if you go to Him to be only saved, what happens? You'll stray yourself away. And what happens is that you'll start to do things and you won't be saved. You can see it all the time, and then you'll start seeing sin as not serious. If you come to Christ, come with an open heart. Don't come with a heart saying, I'm coming to Him because I want to be saved, or want your gift. Don't do that at all. Go to Him and say to Him, God, Father, Jesus, I come to you to find peace. I come to you to give me the pain. I come to you to understand. I come to you to find love. I come to you to find joy. And then, come with it as, I come to you, to find love in that. And then at the end, acknowledge that His gift. Acknowledge, Jesus, I thank you for what you've done. I thank you for saving me. I thank you for, leading me to you. I thank you for everything. Don't come in the tent and say, Lord, I come to you to be saved. That's not a turning heart, because you're only coming to Him to do for something. You're only coming to Him to be saved. You're not coming for anything else. And with the idea of being saved, you're not going to repent, because you're going to be like, I'm coming saved. I can just be sinning and come back to be saved again. No, if you truly come to, if you even look at all the biblical people, they didn't come to Jesus to be saved. They came to, at the start. Tell me what, they went to Jesus and they were saved, and they said, they and all that. But they didn't come to attend. It wasn't on their mind first. Oh, Jesus, thank you for saving me. No, they at all. They knew who he was, and they knew what, and they found out what the gift was, and found out what happens when you accept it. But that's not, what turned them to him. They turned to him because they wanted to understand. They wanted to find joy. They wanted to find peace. That's what they wanted to do, guys. And they didn't. They didn't go to Jesus to find, you know, um, they didn't go to Jesus and to go there to to be like to go there and say, oh, I'm coming here to be so. It's like, don't get me wrong. People can say, thank you for Jesus, I came to you to be saved, and still have the right heart posture. But it's very, I'd say it's very rare, and I'll say it's like, I wouldn't say going. The best thing I can say is come to him like you would as you would come to a loving mother. You go to them to find comfort, and when you find comfort, you listen to them. You abide them. I'm talking about loving parent. Parents who take care of their kids. I'm not talking about crap parents. I know there's a lot of people out there who have had crap parents. Like me. I had a crap parent. I had a loving parent, which was my mother, but I had a crap father. Um, but I'd say that you don't need a mother and a father to see a loving. You don't need a, because I'm not trying to be hateful in that, but I see a lot of people who see me had a really bad father and mother, had a crap parents, and can't really see it. But if you're watching this and you've had a crap, father or mother, and you don't, and that's why you find it really hard to understand, just know that you don't need a good mother and a good father to see the true loving fruits of a loving mother and a loving father. You don't need a mother. You just need to observe other parents or other people that are true. But that's the one thing that I would say take away is that don't to come to Christ to as a lost child and pray. You want to pray something to show your sign, a sign that's undoubtedly, or you want him to speak to you audibly. Pray, be persistent, don't give up. Because all God there's a reason why the Father is not God. There's a reason why he won't answer you, and there's a reason why, you went through this. There's a reason why behind everything. And I'm not saying, I'm not, and I, if you, and don't be, if you went through some horrible, don't put that on, the God. The one thing I notice a lot of people do who suffer from pain or suffer a traumatic event is that they blame the father for a lot of things. For example, I was talking to this lady, I don't want to name her, but when she was 8 years old, her mother died of cancer, and I asked her specifically, was she a Christian? And she said yes, and that could to me straight away why the father didn't heal her cancer. The reason why the father didn't heal cancer because she was already saved. If, example, the reason why a child will be in human sex trafficking and they die in that process, the reason why the father, he could have easily stopped it and that, and easily stopped it, and he can easily stop it, and he will, and he's going to. But at the same time, so most in the art at the same time, like if a child, if a 13-year-old die in a car crash, you know, um, a reason could be is because they're gonna be with father at the end, like and I was thinking like um, and I'm not trying to say it's a cop out at all. I realised something. I'm so dumb. This is how you know I'm really dumb, right? I can use glow like it. And then and then when I build all the the things I can use. There we go. I wish I had light box instead, but I'm just gonna do this. Gonna do this. Gonna tap it like that around. But not for long distance. It's not gonna look like much. But it will. You're gonna do one layer by one layer. But yeah, I try to like explain to her that if you're a true believer and you truly have trust in God, like if I um had a daughter or a son and they died in a horrific way and they were a child or they took this, I'll be upset. Don't get me wrong, I'll be sad, but I won't be angry at God because I know where they are. And me being angry at God where I know where they are, where they're safe and sound, and where I want to see them again. That's that's all that that I know that's coming from emotion. Um, and that's one thing I notice is that a lot of people who suffer trauma, they have so much built up emotion, anger, they can't clear their mind and really and think about it. You know what I mean? And it's what they and I know I've never lost a child or something like that, and I know it's very I know that I've never felt the loss of a child. Um, I know I've never felt that, and I know that. Um, it doesn't mean I know what pain feels like, and it doesn't mean that I know. It doesn't mean that I know you're not that you're. It doesn't mean that I don't. That doesn't mean I can't empathize with your pain, but two, it doesn't mean I don't understand pain. And this is where emotional. And this is where the problem with where it comes to atheists when their emotion something happens, because they have so much trauma that the emotion blocks the thinking. You know, it stops the thinking. It stops the hold on. Why am I getting angry here? It stops that because it's so much trauma. Their brain's like why and that. Well, and one other thing too, which I don't think most people realise is most people think that when Christ returns and the dead in Christ rises. While most people think that's saying Christians, no, that's not. It doesn't say Christians, it's a dead in Christ. So that who aligns with Christ. So, and that's who God chooses, who accept his gift and who he decides to, choose. It's up to God, it's not to us. So God can definitely go beyond what He says. Him saying unbeliever doesn't contradict because it's about the heart posture. Um, so it is a point. It does say that it's appointed, and it does emphasize it. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be. You know, I'm not saying that. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be emphasized. Um, the one thing which I really find interesting, a lot of Christians do, is I look at the Hebrew words for forever and eternal, and it doesn't describe. So the meaning of the Hebrew word, and then they translate these into. So how translation works, they get the actual meaning from the Greek, and they put it into English, and then they pick an English word that fits all those meanings, which um, which is interesting because some of them don't actually match up. What am I doing? Why am I putting on the walls? I'm stupid, am I? Some of it doesn't match up. Well, forever, if you look at the Hebrew words, you can definitely interpret that for forever or a long time. And so when I looked at it, this is why I like looking at Hebrew words because wait a minute. I'm gonna put it where there's no slabs. Because if there's slabs, I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, because I looked at it and I'm like, it's interesting because the Hebrew word can definitely mean forever, but also it can mean for a long time. So when I look at the words, I do think that um, there will be people in hell forever. But I don't think there'll be. I do think there'll be separate people. There'll be certain people who won't be in there forever. And what I mean by that is that, um, people get punished to certain degrees, and that doesn't matter authenticity, but it doesn't matter if they get the same as that time. You get what I mean? Like, so if someone gets a different punishment, but it's in there forever, it doesn't matter how much the intensity is for the other person because the other person is going to be forever. So the intensity doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You can interpret it, it does matter. But yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, it's interesting because I look at it and I said that one, people are going to be judged differently for each knowledge and light. So they'll still be judged. And the parable which Jesus gives is he gives a parable where he's talking about the servants and the master, and he says that the servant who didn't know or knew the master but didn't know the command, so the light. So he's saying that. So the parable goes that the servant knew who the master was, knew his rules, but the master went out. I'm pretty sure I remember right, and he comes back and he tells a servant to do things, but the servants mess with the other servant. So what happens is the master punishes the servant who knew more severely, gets the maximum punishment pretty much, but the servant who didn't know gets punished, but he gets a less punishment, gets a less severe punishment. But if you look at it, if you're going to look at hell forever, well, there's a problem. That means if hell and if the judgment forever, if the judgment's forever for all people, and then that means the parable doesn't make sense. What I mean, I'll show what I mean. So if the servant if they're both forever, that means the servant would get whipped because it's just a whip. So there's in the parable there's not a different type of whip. It's the same whip. So you can't say, oh, different. No, it's the same whip. The servant who did not know gets the whip less. So that would, and then so if hell is forever for all people, that brings a really big problem with the analogy in the parable which Jesus said, because then everyone, even then that means even the person who didn't know will still get punished for the same thing. And honestly, too, is that the servants are also getting punished for what they did to the servant too. And the servant's getting punished for that he should have known better, but he's also getting punished less because what the servants did to him. So the servants are getting punished max because they knew, but also because they're getting punished max because what they did to the servant. But the servant's getting punished less because he didn't know, but he's also getting punished less because what they did to him. Basically. And that's what. And so if the hell is forever for people, then that brings a big, big problem with Jesus' parable. That means Jesus' parable does not make sense. It means that Jesus' parable means a contradiction between hell. Because if hell is forever and severely, and they get, they have different, and they have different severe punishments, then how, if, that means both servants with that parable had to get punished for knowing and for fully knowing the intent and what they did to the other person. But the problem is that means the person who, didn't know and was, manipulated and, they didn't know, that means it's an unjust punishment. So if hell is forever for all people, that means the servant in that parable who didn't know and is punished, is less punished for not knowing, but also less punished for and the punish and also and in that punishment is, so the punishment for the servant is what's considered in it is that he didn't know and what they did to him, and the punishment for the servants who did know, that is considering that punishment is what they did to the servant who didn't know and what they did to the servant who didn't know. So that means if hell is forever, that means the servant who got punished less for not knowing and for what was done to him, and the servants who were punished for what they knew and what they did to the other servant, that means in hell, these both will get the same punishment. Then that parable makes no sense. So that means that the servant is getting the exact same amount of punishment as the other servants. And again, the whip is the same whip. The only difference is that the servants are getting punished for the max, and the servant who didn't know is getting punished less for not knowing, and also for what's been done, or for the servants what did to him. So that means hell, if it's time-based, that means there'll be certain people who will be the servant who got punished less, and there'll be people who are the servant who got punished fully. That means hell can't be forever for all people. And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to take away that from hell, saying, hell and that. I'm saying that hell is a place which should be taken seriously. That's what I'm trying not to take away from him. That hell should be a place taken seriously, guys. But I think this is good. I want to get off, but I think we got a lot done today. And I think it looks really good. Yeah. Yeah, so now that means when we come across, we'll have a building there, with, and then we'll have, walkway up here. We'll have crane probably there going down. Um, I should have made it down that way, to be honest. Too late. Um, Probably not crane. We'll put out things, sheds and that, but we'll make it make sense. I'll look at what actually is in what was in medieval quarries to see, and we'll base it off that. And hopefully, we can have at least 20 villages, or 20, at least 10 in the building, or 15 in the building, and 10 outside, or at least a lot of villages outside. So that means we can have a bunch of villagers walking around, and that means we'll feel a lot more alive. Yeah. Right, yeah, so I thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to go have something to eat and some dinner. But again, thank you.